You're under arrest, dude. I got some buddies coming. You're gonna go to jail today.
First, the arrest.
You are under arrest, and you're adding charges every second.
In this case, a man with a knife wouldn't drop it. After he is handcuffed, he becomes part of the millions arrested, and until their case is heard, if they can't make bail, their new temporary home is the Gray Bar Hotel. The nonstop clatter of the inside, people locked up. But why? What crimes are they accused of? Millions are arrested, booked, and placed in the nation's jails. An analysis just released by the Prison Policy Initiative tells us who gets locked up in local jails. We take a look behind bars in Blackland.
And now,
as a brown person, you just feel so invisible.
Where we're from.
Brothers and sisters, I welcome you to this joyful day.
We celebrate freedom. Where we are.
Get on the ground!
I know someone heard something.
And where we're going.
We the people means all the people.
The Black Information Network presents Blackland with your host, Vanessa Tyler.
Who are those locked up? What crimes have they committed? The Prison Policy Initiative just released a comprehensive study. Communications strategist Wanda Bertram went inside and joins me with more.
So you basically did a study on the local jails. What did you find out about who is being locked up and picked up and just thrown in local jails?
Right. So to give a little context, several million people go to local jails every year. And these are facilities that are run by your local government, local police, prosecutors, and judges. They're the ones that decide who goes to a local jail. And there are so many different jails. There's almost 3,000 jails in this country. And that makes it hard to collect comprehensive data on it. We did this new analysis to find out what types of charges are responsible for people going to local jails. You might think that this would already be information that's out there, but the government hasn't collected data about it since 2002. We were able to do our analysis because another organization called the Jail Data Initiative has spent the last few years scraping public information off of over 1,000 local jail websites. So basically putting in some serious elbow grease to collect this data that has not been collected by the federal government in over 2 decades. What we found was, in my opinion, pretty shocking. We found that the distinct majority of people in jails on any given day are being held there for nonviolent offenses. 2/3 of people in jail today are being held for things like drug offenses, property crimes, probation and parole violations, other misdemeanors. So things that are certainly notable offenses a lot of the time, but still nonviolent issues, right? Very, very minor things in the grand scope of things that people could be being sent to jails for.
So you're saying that these are low-level offenders that are being thrown in these jails. So,
Right.
and what's the takeaway there? Do you think these people should just be given appearance tickets? How should society handle even the lowest level offenders?
Local jails, for those that don't know, local jails are almost always holding people who are pre-trial. You can, if you've been convicted of a misdemeanor, you might still serve your sentence in jail. If you've been convicted of a felony, you're going to go to prison. But most people who are in local jails are people who are locked up before their trial. They haven't been convicted. So what we're really talking about here are millions of people who are stuck in jails on every single year because they haven't been convicted of, but are charged with these very low-level crimes. The fact is that most people who are stuck in jail pre-trial are there because they can't afford to pay money bail, which is ironic because the purpose of money bail is not to keep you in jail. The purpose of money bail is that you can go free, but you have a financial incentive to come back to court for your hearing.
Wanda Bertram of the Prison Policy Initiative says bail is off its mission.
The way that bail has basically functioned over the last couple decades or few decades is that judges have deliberately imposed amounts of bail that are higher than they know people can afford as a way of keeping them locked up pre-trial because they believe that that is necessary in order to get people to come to their hearings. We and other organizations have been working for a long time to show that this is really not the case. And what all that you accomplish when you hold people in jail on unaffordable bail amounts is you make it more likely that they're going to plead guilty. They take a guilty plea just so that they can get out of jail earlier. We have been pushing on local governments to change how they hold people pre-trial, because even if it's just for a week or 2 weeks, or 4 weeks, that's the average amount of time someone is held in jail, it is really destabilizing to have to go to jail and to be away from your family and your job and not be able to pay rent and that sort of thing. And that doesn't actually help public safety at large. It just destabilizes communities.
Yeah. I've heard stories where people have been, like you said, in jail pre-trial for more than 4 weeks. Have you discovered that, where people are basically just languishing there in jail almost close to a year?
I know that recently in Houston, there was a scandal about hundreds of people being held for hundreds of days, just pre-trial, right? Just locked up awaiting trial. And some of those folks are people who, just like our analysis says, are charged with very minor things. So you have to imagine thousands of people, if not tens of thousands of people, locked up in jails every year, awaiting trial for a minor offense. That is, it's not just destabilizing to those individuals and their families. It's a huge waste of public funds and resources. That's part of what we're trying to draw attention to here.
And it's Black people held the most.
We know that if you look at prisons and jails, the total, the rates of incarceration for Latino people and Black people are considerably higher than the rates for white people and other racial groups. Specifically, if you total up the Black and Latino populations in prisons and jails, it's actually a little over 60%. So this is hugely impactful on Black communities in particular.
Then there are the number of those who, for a variety of reasons, lose their lives in jail, turning their time into a death sentence.
One of the things that we try to stress is that these are facilities that are not built to hold people for more than a week or two. They're temporary facilities, kind of like an emergency room, and yet they're holding people often for a month or several months. And over that time, it's very easy for health issues to build up, to go unnoticed, and then to lead to someone's death. So when you're not on health insurance, when you're poor, health issues really build up. So you see higher rates of mental illness, higher rates of substance use problems, also other chronic conditions, heart conditions, hypertension, diabetes, all those things are more present in jails and prisons.
And again, jails do not have the capacity like a prison with the health facilities that could help people who are locked up.
That's exactly right. Yes, prisons. No one is begging to go to prison to receive the prison health care. Prison health care is pretty bad, but jail health care in comparison is even worse.
What should we do, and how can we learn more?
Well, you're always, people are always welcome to come to our website, prisonpolicy.org. That's where we publish all of our research. But I think what you're getting at more is, what can the average person do to change all this? I think that really it's a matter of being aware of what the local criminal justice system is doing. Police, prosecutors, judges, what are they, read the news and notice, what are they prioritizing? Who are they prioritizing locking up? Because I think what a lot of people don't recognize is that a huge portion of folks who are locked up in this country, they're not in state prisons. They're not in federal prisons. They're in these local facilities run by people that you elect, so we can choose to vote in sheriffs, prosecutors, DAs, judges who have criminal justice reform in mind. And that's something that I think that if more people paid attention to that and were more engaged in that respect, we would probably see a shift to the better.
Wanda Bertram, Prison Policy Initiative. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Vanessa Tyler. Join me next time on Blackland. A new episode drops every week.